emerges. Sean Combs' PR team discovered actually paying off people outside the courthouse to wear free puffy t-shirts. Don Richard taking the stand testifying that Sean Combs threatened we could die for speaking out and defending Cassie Ventura. This, as evidence reveals, depraved Diddy constantly carried a Louis Vuitton bag stuffed with cocaine, ecstasy, pot, horse tranquilizer, and Plan B birth control. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
Vile, greedy abuser
that took part in heinous beatings and bizarre sex acts. Decades of abuse of women and so-called freak-offs. This is a day that's been long in coming. Will there be justice?
And I say Dirty Diddy going down. This is the case.
Testimony pouring from the witness stand all day long, and joining us outside the courthouse, Lauren Conlon, investigative reporter, star of Pop Crime TV. Lauren, thank you for being with us. Tell us what's going on in the courtroom.
Yes, Nancy, it started off pretty interesting this morning with Diddy's lawyers actually arguing that the case and the witnesses is becoming more of a gossip chamber of some sort. They are trying to get some of the chef testimony that's expected to testify thrown out, saying, what does the chef testimony have to do with the indictment? And the prosecution is saying, well, that has to do with forced labor. We also saw Dawn Richard finish her direct testimony and get cross-examined. And what's come into question, Nancy, is all of Dawn Richard's previous statements to the government as they appear to
What's
change.
up, bro?
And we learned this when the defense came up to cross-examine her, and Dawn Richard actually admitted herself that her testimony has changed based on her memories. Specifically, after the skillet incident, she testified last week and today that Diddy and Harv Pierre, one of his Bad Boy record executives, actually said to her that if she told
Diddy might get off this case, might beat this case, y'all. Don't be surprised. Top of the morning. Thanks for coming in.
That, she
How you
didn't
feeling?
remember. So they are really trying to poke holes.
Good morning. How you feeling? Top of the morning. Look, Diddy might beat this case. Don't be surprised. It's just a lot of loopholes in here. It's a lot of things not adding up for what they try and charge Diddy with. So we just going to sit here and react to what Nancy Grace and everybody else got to say. But a lot of stuff that they got on Diddy is not RICO Act crimes. Is so far they not getting down to the trafficking, and they basically sitting here just talking about how freaky Diddy's sex life is. Let's get into
it. In her statement. Additionally,
share the live for me, man. The Diddy trial going on. Share the live.
She left after a certain period of time working for Diddy because she was scared, and he had threatened her, and she saw the violence he committed. And the defense said, well, isn't it true that you texted him to work for him again? And she said yes, but she said that she did this for her bandmate Coletta Hart.
This is what they talked about right now. Dawn just took the stand. Now, Dawn taking the stand far as she's been a witness to the acts that happened to Cassie and stuff like that. What happened was they just now kind of like caught Dawn up because they saying if Dawn was so scared of Diddy and Diddy was so violent, Dawn saying that Diddy threatened her, that if you say something, we'll come after you. But the thing is, now they saying just a couple years ago, last year, so Dawn was just calling Diddy back for a job. So all this is like wins for Diddy. So that's what they talking about.
At her request. Now, there was what I believe is a big bombshell in celebrity names. Dawn Richard said that at a dinner they were at in LA, Diddy punched Cassie in the stomach, and there were other celebrities there, like Usher. And additionally, after the government would ask Dawn Richard about these different occurrences of violence, they would always make sure to ask after which of Diddy's employees were present.
You mentioned a, quote, skillet incident. And this is Dawn Richard recounting when Sean Combs actually beat Cassie Ventura in the head with a frying pan. Could you explain what happened?
Tell anyone I did this, and next time I'll kill you.
I was only...
Yeah, so Dawn Richard first testified on Friday that she was recording music at Diddy's LA home.
See, this Diddy defense team tripping Dawn up in a whole bunch of a web of mixed up stories she told. They trying to poke holes in her story so they can say she's not credible.
With her bandmate, they were in this Diddy Dirty Money group, or Dirty Money, and Cassie was making eggs at the stove. Diddy came down the stairs, and she said that he attacked her or tried to hit her with his frying pan, and that Cassie appeared to go down in a fetal position, and then he dragged her up the stairs. Now, Dawn Richard, during her redirect with the government, after she was called out for changing her story, she said without a doubt that she knows that Diddy hurt Cassie. She was in the fetal position, and she saw her get dragged up the stairs.
A skillet, a frying pan full of eggs. Now, you stated, Lauren Conlon, that Richard has changed her testimony. I'm very curious. Changed it how exactly?
Well, the first thing that the defense pointed out is that she never...
Keep in mind, y'all, they talked about the girl Dawn for the Dirty Money group with Diddy, but she was there to make it a bad and all that shit too. They talk about her testimony switching up right now. Keep in mind, it's Dawn they talking about.
Told the government, and I believe that she had about 8 meetings that Diddy never said to her, people go missing, and this is essentially a death threat. Additionally, they pointed out that in her civil lawsuit, there was some kind of incident that was recounted, and a lot of people saw, and Dawn Richard actually said, oh, that was a mistake that my lawyers made. And I guess they were referring to another incident. We learned
Diddy
this in
might
the
beat
redirect.
this case, y'all.
There was that, and there was a couple other instances where she left certain things out.
Wait a minute. So, Lauren Conlon, one of the things that the defense tried to make sound like it's inconsistent was actually another violent incident.
Yes, that is pertaining to her civil lawsuit, her 2024 civil lawsuit. But what's interesting is that Dawn Richard testified that over time, her memory has gotten better because she wanted to suppress a lot of these bad memories from working with Diddy. She worked so hard to not remember them. And now, she's been working with the government to remember them. And Nancy, I want to point something else out that I've noticed about the jury today, because I feel like I have a good view of the jury. I'm not sure if they're getting desensitized to some of the violence that we're hearing about, or they just don't have a reaction. But I'm really surprised because sometimes I have to hold my face still in order to not react. And they are just, kind of blank. Additionally, I've seen Diddy today pass numerous notes to his lawyer. There is a woman doing the cross-examination by the name of Nicole Westmoreland. I felt that, she was effective, but in my...
Keep in mind, Diddy got about 10 lawyers too, y'all.
Opinion, she seemed a little bit nervous this morning. She forgot to say objection at one point. But again, overall, she's been pretty effective.
Wait. The person cross-examining forgot to say objection?
Yes, it did.
At one point, she did. The judge was like, I think you mean objection. And, she went on. And this was early on. So I'm like, oh, she might be a little nervous.
Okay, I find it hard to believe a lawyer forgets to say objection, but that's a whole nother can of worms. What about the testimony in chief that Richard describes an incident where Combs attacked her because Richard was trying to defend Cassie?
All right, so now they talked about an incident. They about to talk about an incident where Diddy's supposed to attack the girl Dawn. Let's see how this story hold up. Let's see how she come through on that.
Well, she says that he verbally threatened her and that he would always say things like, this is not your business. Stay out of my
And keep in mind, Dawn got to try to get a law settlement out on Diddy for some money too.
Relationship. There was something else that she said that Harv Pierre, a bad boy executive, and Diddy would both say to her. It was something like something about people going to dark places, and I'm paraphrasing here. But if I had to just kind of put it out there, Nancy, and maybe you'll see, but I do feel like the defense really hammered Dawn Richard.
Did she try to intervene on behalf of Cassie Ventura?
That's a good question.
Yes.
And last, you were discussing inconsistencies.
This daughter, y'all
that she had not used the words Diddy threatened that, or his hench person, that people disappear when they talk. What phraseology, if any, did she use when she was talking to the state?
She left that completely out, but said that Diddy said to her, "What you witnessed was passion. Cassie is okay." Carrie Morgan, Cassie's former best friend, was on the stand, and she testified that after the March 2016 incident, and this is crazy, she was at Cassie's house. Cassie walked in with the hood, a black eye, put her bag down, appeared to be extremely numb, and then about 30 minutes later, Carrie Morgan alleged that Diddy showed up outside the door banging on it with a hammer.
Lauren Conlon joining me outside the courthouse. I just want to nail down one thing.
This is one point that I be trying to make to people, right? I did a live. I had to take the shit down. It was too graphic. Not justified none of the stuff that Diddy got going on, but y'all got to keep in mind, if y'all ever took like ecstasy or Molly, y'all know your judgment is cloudy. A lot of this stuff is fueled off of Diddy being high, man. Diddy need rehab. Diddy need a whole bunch of shit going on, bro. The drugs got his brain clouded. He high. He lacking sleep, man. He's fueled off of powerful drugs, man. Pay attention what they say.
Okay. On the stand, Richard states that she was told people go missing when they talk. She was cross-examined about that phraseology. But isn't it true that when she interviewed with the state and when she was on direct examination, she stated that she was threatened by Combs and his cronies?
Dawn Richard, and this is through the government as well as the defense, she interviewed with the government multiple times, about 7 or 8 times, and she did not say that specific line about people going missing. It was more general.
And let me say this about the case, man. I y'all can say I'm tripping, but man, it started to seem like, man, this is just my opinion. This is my thought on it, right? I don't know if Diddy got around to these witnesses and gave these witnesses a few dollars or something, but all the witnesses is taking the stand and fumbling the ball and making things look good for Diddy, y'all. Y'all, like, we at the final days of this trial. It's going fast. You gotta pay attention. Don't be surprised if Diddy slipped through this. Keep in mind, when Diddy first came into this trial, they was offering Diddy life. Diddy turned down a life. Then they came back and they offered Diddy 15 years. Diddy turned down in 15 years. Keep in mind, the offers is going lower and lower. He's already in jail doing time. You know what I'm saying? At this point, with the way these witnesses is getting on stand and messing this shit up, making Diddy, they're not credible witnesses, and it's making Diddy look good. This shit could fall in Diddy's favor. You gotta pay attention. Diddy might be the best that ever done this shit, y'all. Pay attention.
Until about the 8th meeting, the last meeting, which occurred in April or May of 2025.
So she has said, we've really gone on a wild goose chase for this. So she has said that she was told people go missing when they talk in April or May of 25. She did say that before she took the stand.
Say this live for me, y'all. Get the likes up.
Yes, according to the transcripts that she read, but that goes back to her saying that she tried to forget these memories and suppress them. And while working with the government, she was able to recount these memories.
All right, that's important. Y'all got to peep what she just down said. Diddy lawyers is saying, hold up. Dawn, you saying a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't say at your first interview. Dawn's excuse to all that is saying, look, I had a whole bunch of tragic stuff happen to me. I tried to block that stuff out for a long time. I pushed that stuff so back in the far of my brain so I couldn't try to remember it. And then she comes back and follow up and said, but working with the government, working with the police and the state's attorney, it helped me to recollect things that I forgot. In the state, And Diddy lawyers is basically saying, look, we not buying that.
Got it. Lauren Collin joining us outside the courthouse. Now, let's go to an all-star panel. Thank you, Lauren. Straight out to Josh Ritter joining us, a veteran criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, host of Courtroom Confidential on YouTube. Josh, thank you for being with us. So you say tomato, I say tomato. She, in multiple interviews with the state prior to testimony, stated that she was threatened with physical harm if she talked, in other words, told anyone about Cassie's beatings. Today, the way she described it was people disappear if they talk. People go missing.
That's what they trying to decipher. When she first gave her statement to the police, she said Diddy would physically harm her, put hands on her. Physically is putting hands on you, drag her to say, look, you saying what you saying, shut up. Now when she come to court, Dawn's statement changed to say, nah, he ain't physically hit me. He basically was threatening me saying, look, if you tell anything, you know what I'm saying, you could come missing, which is totally different. That's a verbal threat. That's a big difference. This ain't looking good.
I don't see that that's as big of a point as the defense is trying to make it be.
I actually think it is a big point. I mean, we're talking about prior inconsistent.
This is a defense lawyer, a professional defense lawyer that's going over the case too. He's saying exactly what I'm saying. Listen what he said about what Dawn said.
Statements. The idea that she is trying to say that her memory has improved over time. I mean, I'm no memory expert, but that's laughable to me, and I think it'll be laughable to a jury. That is not how memory works.
I just said that. You see what I'm saying? The jury gonna see that and say, what? How did you just remember everything by working with the government, working with state's attorney? Did they coerce you to remembering things? Like, come on, Diddy lawyers gonna chew that up.
All of a sudden feel stronger and more detailed about our memories, certainly over things that have taken place years and years ago. This is the problem. If it looks,
you know what's interesting, Josh Ritter? I appreciate what you're saying. Let me see, Ritter, because I did not put a lot of stock in repressed memories returned until I was prosecuting in the DA's office, and there was a brilliant woman who became a very, very dear friend in the DA's office, who went on to run our appellate division. And well into her marriage, she already had a child. She had repressed memories of being molested as a child by a family member and had repressed it for all those years. And she was just as down to earth as you or I. Just not fantastical at all. And I've got to say, that helped ruin her marriage because it totally messed her mind up when these memories came back. Now, when this woman had a repressed memory return, I realized it was real, and I had poo-pooed it.
See, that's why I like Nacy, yo. She neutral. She basically saying she taking up for Dawn. She's saying she's working somewhere and something tragic happened to a lady, and then her memory came back too. So, she and Dawn, but the defense lawyer telling him he already stated he's not an expert at memory, so.
For years. In fact, I want to go to Dr. Bethany Marshall on this. I understand Ritter's skepticism. I get it. Dr. Bethany Marshall, renowned psychoanalyst, joining us out of LA. She's the author of Deal Breakers, and you can see her on Peacock now. She is at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, I always blame the questioner. It's not in my mind that Richard has changed her testimony. It's that the more she talked about it, the more facts came out. If you do a simple what happened and the person tells you, and then that becomes their sworn statement, and then later you go, well, what exactly did he say? And what exactly was the threat? That's the questioner's fault. That is not her fault. But the defense is going to turn this around on her.
Nacy, the idea of memories is so complex. It could be that the more she's been
What's up, B? What's up, cuz?
The more she recognizes the severity of the abuse, the more she thinks about it, the more she recovers memories of what happened. But also, Nacy, there's one more layer, and that is that the way the defense is questioning her is also abusive.
And joining me also, pouring over every word in the courtroom, Crime Stories investigative reporter Sydney Sumner. Sydney, thank you for being with us. Sydney, I understand that after last week, the Tootsie Roll reveal when it comes to Sean Combs's, along with...
Now they talked about this some old other shit right here. They something about Diddy being the size of a Tootsie Roll down there. Nacy, but I don't know how this got to do. That's why I said this case is crazy, bro. Like the stuff they talking about is like ain't got nothing to do with Diddy trafficking, Diddy being a RICO case. This is basically talking about Diddy's sex life and personal stuff. Like, how in the hell this got to do with a RICO case? That's why I'm saying they had 15 years. He turned that down. Normally, when the state or the feds or whoever, their offers that they get you get lower and lower, they ain't got shit. Listen to their witnesses. Now they talking about the Tootsie Roll with the man size down there. Come on, y'all. Get the likes up for me.
Harrowing testimony on the stand from Cassie has thrown Sean Combs into a rage, and that rage only heightened behind bars when he was forced to watch a Knicks game. At one point, he would sit courtside and kind of help coach, but now he's watching it and sharing the tiny little screen with his fellow inmates on the cell block. That only made his rage worse. First, you've got the Tootsie Roll reveal, okay, as if that weren't enough. A week of harrowing testimony from Cassie.
She talking about right.
Yeah, Nancy. What?
She basically talking about after this bad week in court that Diddy had when he went back on the cell block, now being locked up and everything being redacted to living a normal life, stuff like that. His attitude and his actions in court been showing kind of hostile rage in his character. And she talking about that night.
Watching that Knicks game from a tiny screen in 4 North is not the same experience as being courtside. And after listening to Cassie's testimony all week, he may have been reflecting when he took her to a game in 2017. Now, Paps caught them all smiles at that game, but we now know that that is not the truth of their relationship in any way, shape, or form. And we also today, we've seen his mom, 6 of his children who are old enough to understand what's happening.
Even it is telling his family, look, man, look, kids, whoever coming, y'all don't have to come because it's so gruesome and nasty, especially if you got daughters. The daughters walked out of court, if y'all ain't know. His daughters was coming to support. The daughters walked out and left at one point. So if y'all don't, they ain't been showing up. So I look at that as either they not showing up on his own, or, you know, Diddy probably called him and said, look, man, y'all ain't got to come through, man. Y'all can lay back and chill. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to put y'all through this. You feel what I'm saying?
His mother in court every day. One of his spouses came to support her son, supporting his dad, and no one is in the courtroom for him today.
Nobody in the court for Diddy.
Dr. Bethany Marshall, I want to jump off what Sydney Sumner was saying. Let me just say, perfect storm of the Toots.
He gonna walk on most of those charges because they coming up with bullshit, and none of it is illegal so far. Exactly. That's the point that I'm making. That's why all this Diddy going to jail, Diddy already in jail. And you know how they is with jail. They might give Diddy time served. So I agree with you on that. They got none of this is saying Diddy is a RICO boss. Diddy is doing RICO acts. Where's the trafficking? Let's start talking about that, because right now Diddy ain't looking bad as they saying. It's just looking like Diddy is freaky.
Reveal. And then the really disturbing testimony coming from the stand, everybody looking at him, sitting there like he's Mr. Rogers, in the neighborhood, and she's describing free coffee.
Now, mind you, y'all know how court is. Court is all a stunt. They say Diddy been coming to court dressed with sweater on, gray sweater, gray slacks. They say looking like Wayne. They say also Diddy has been coming to Bible as a prop. They say Diddy never prayed. The people around him, they never seen Diddy pray or have a Bible. But now Diddy is coming to court like looking like Mr. Rogers carrying the Bible, trying to throw the courts off. Just so the jury could look at him in a different light. Y'all got to pay attention, man. This is all a charade, man. This is your justice system.
Beatings, all of that, and then he's forced to. There was a time when he would basically help. Speaking of itty bitty Diddy, an itty bitty screen.
In my field, Nancy, we call this a narcissistic injury. That's when somebody who is used to being inflated, important, grandiose, feeling more important than everybody else around them, all of a sudden has a slight or an injury to their self-esteem. And then when they have a slight or they feel attacked, they feel deflated. When they feel deflated, they feel enraged. When they feel enraged, they go on the attack. And I would guess that even the inmates where he is are being the brunt of his aggression, because I'm sure he's not happy about this at all.
Now, see, that's when you got somebody, I got to stop it right there and say something. We reacted to Nancy Grace Diddy trial, y'all. If y'all just coming in, get the likes up for me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody been coming in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Everybody engaged into the conversation. Get the likes up for me. I appreciate y'all. But look, I got to stop that. See, she's sitting there saying, see, they think jail is different. Diddy raised, Diddy being enraged, he going back to the jail and probably going off on prisoners. They not going for no Diddy coming back acting like a tough man. They gonna go upside Diddy head, sit your goofy ass down. Like, she don't know Diddy sitting back. He probably, oh fuck, but he ain't doing nothing. Ain't no Diddy, ain't no, unless he got a bunch of motherfuckers around him, but still it's a respect thing. So I ain't got Diddy going back. He running the tail, running shit because he mad, man. They just talking on that, man. That ain't how jail walk, man. Work. Diddy ain't just running the section. Like, no, fuck out of here.
This is about an enterprise, a group of people fly and say.
Here they go. Y'all heard what she just said. This is about an enterprise, a group of people flying motherfuckers in. But we ain't heard nothing about no people being flying in no group of people, because it's only Diddy on trial. Come on, y'all. Make this shit make sense. How is Diddy, a RICO Act is a group of people running around? It got to be a group of doing illegal crimes, right? Y'all Google what a RICO Act is. How in the hell is Diddy one person on RICO with a RICO Act? Where's the rest of his crew? Like, this is crazy. Diddy gonna beat this. Y'all gonna be like, yo, you right. How you got one man on a RICO Act? That's crazy.
Workers drugging women, facilitating videos of them being.
Where's the crew?
They're passed out.
Where's his member?
Diddy is much, much more dark.
Evidence pouring from the witness.
Come on, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention. I'm not saying Diddy ain't guilty, but they're going to try to prove Diddy guilty in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a RICO case. Number one, Diddy's the only person being charged. I never heard. Listen, he the only one being charged. I never heard of this.
Stand, and we are learning that even when Sean Combs is arrested, knowing that he may turn himself in.
Hi,
Come
I'm
on.
Melissa Zabel,
All
and
these
I'm pursuing
commercials.
my Doctor of Technology at Purdue University. I have worked in...
Even that
Listen.
night, when his 5-star hotel is raided, it's full of damning evidence. Listen.
Homeland Security Special Agent Yassine Binda, who searched Sean Combs.
See, now they paint the picture like he's a freak off narcissist. They trying to say, right, even up until the last 24 hours of Diddy about to have to turn himself in, about to go to jail, he's still running around with freak off items. Y'all get the likes up for me, y'all. We got 1 like, man. Come on, get the likes up for me, man. I'm bringing good content. I'm bringing y'all the Diddy trial. We reacting to Nancy Grace. Get the likes up for me, y'all. Let me know what y'all think, man. Diddy gonna beat this or what? Pay attention, because now they telling y'all how freaked out he is. Hours before his turn-in, hours before his arrest, he still got a whole bunch of freak-off shit. He's high.
Manhattan Park Hyatt Motel Suite the day of his arrest. Bottles of baby oil and lube were scattered throughout the suite, and a lighting device was found in the living room. Pill bottles found in a Louis Vuitton toiletry bag contained Klonopin, prescribed for Frank Black, and a pink powder that tested positive for ketamine and MDMA. A fanny pack contained $9,000 cash, and Binda said it appeared a woman was staying in the room with Combs.
That's not all that was found. Sean Combs planning a freak-off in a...
He got locked up with drugs on him. Not like, keep in mind, I'm not justifying nothing for Diddy. But what I want y'all to understand is Diddy's mind is clouded 90% of the time. The man is a drug addict.
5-star hotel in Manhattan when he's arrested. Sydney Sumner joining us. What is Astroglide?
Astroglide is lubrication for sexual purposes, Nancy.
Okay, I'm just curious, Josh Ritter, you're so busy planning how you can destroy Dawn Richard on the stand, how you can tear her testimony into shreds. You tell me, after all this, and this is after a federal multi-count indictment, there he is, the night of his arrest, with a hotel room stuffed with Astroglide, multiple bottles of baby oil, all sorts of lubricants, sex aids, and tons of...
Okay, maybe the drugs is a crime, but what the fuck? Baby oil and all that is not a crime. That's all I'm saying. Everything we talking about is Diddy's personal sex life. Like, come on, y'all making like he having baby oil and Astroglide toys and a woman. Only thing right now that sound like illegal he had on the raid was some drugs.
Cash and drugs. I mean, the man can't help himself. He is a criminal from the beginning to the end. This is the night of his arrest.
Nancy, what criminal stuff did he have, Nancy? Just drugs? He had drugs, a small amount of ecstasy mixed with something else. Where's the firearms? Where's the women in the car taped up about to get trafficked? Give me the crime that this man is being charged for, y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Diddy's gonna probably walk. Every offer that they gave it down. They offered him life, he turned it down. 15 years, he turned it down. Now what they gonna do? Offer him 5 years and suspend all the 5 years, but time served? He doing time.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that. It doesn't look good. You're absolutely right. Here's the thing, though, that the defense is going to have to continue to hammer home. And maybe this is becoming a hill too high to climb, but it's the idea that as deviant as this is, as outrageous as it is, where is the crimes here? I know we're hearing a lot of testimony about really kind of...
Now, mind y'all, I'm just listening to you. We reacting to this live. Like, I haven't heard none of this before, y'all. I'm playing it right now. Seen the thumbnail, and I'm just reacting to it for the first time. But here's a professional analyst lawyer that's saying the same thing I'm saying. Let's see what he's saying. Pay attention.
Sick behavior, but have we heard a lot about him understanding that consent was not being given? Have we heard about criminal entries? Those are the prosecution's going to have to connect.
You're actually making my teeth hurt. Does he understand lack of
Nancy Grace, I ain't gonna lie, she got a hard on for Diddy. Like, I don't know what it is with Diddy, but you can't say nothing. Like, Diddy, let's keep in mind, Diddy is innocent to proven guilty. You can't say nothing in Diddy's favor to her going off. That's insane.